So I'm pleased to be joined with Jenessa Wait. And Janessa, you are from Winnipeg, but you decided
Yes.
to maybe you just didn't like the cold or something. You moved to Austin, Texas now. So, but you are a content creator, you're a business owner, you kind of just you do it all. But can you just like tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah. So I grew up in Winnipeg. I mean, as we all know, Winterpeg. And it's funny because people are like, how's it living in Texas? It's so opposite weather. And it really truly is. Like, we'll have random like 25 degrees Celsius January days. And it's just like, what is happening? But then it also would swing and we'll have like extreme cold weather, like out of nowhere. So Texas is really bipolar in its weather. But yeah, I grew up there. I left actually when I was 18 to go to Bible college in California and had just some life-changing moments out there and met my husband there. And then in 2017, we ended up moving to Austin, Texas, part of a church plant, and we have been serving on staff and just on the team, and it's been such an incredible experience. But yeah, a lot of my roots are from Winnipeg. My dad was a pastor in the city, and so I was a PK and just went to a private Christian school there. So really just had an amazing upbringing. But as every person faces at some point, you need to really discover your faith for yourself, not just riding on the wave of other people's faith, right? And so I had to come face to face with that when I was 17 years old, when I actually hit spiritual burnout, which is kind of a weird thing to say because you think of Christian burnout with people that have been in the ministry for decades, right? But I had such a zeal and a passion to show God I was really devoted to Him, and the missing piece in it all, that really what I was searching for my entire life, was to know that I was his daughter. And the reality is that I was already his daughter. And really that pursuit led me into a lot of performance-based Christianity, a lot of doing all the right things but not feeling that satisfaction inside. And I hit that end of myself, which sometimes that's the best place for us to get to because God can work with that. And it's a long story, but I'll condense it just to kind of give a snippet of my story. I turned away from the Lord, not super long, but enough for me to kind of get a taste of the world. And I mean, nothing satisfied still. And when I was really at my bottom, the lowest of lows, God came in with his love and he rescued me. And the time where I thought I was least deserving of love is when he showed me that love. And after that, I really just had some life-changing encounters where the Lord spoke to me while I was at my youth pastor's um, office. I just kind of was like confessing all the things and crying, and just the Lord met me there in a powerful way and gave me a vision that really gave me a paradigm shift of the way I live my life for God now. And now it's just been a journey of being passionate to share with others that they don't have to live for love. They get to live from his love.
That's so cool. And that's such a relatable story for so many people, I'm sure. Just like that feeling of like I need to like keep doing better, and because it's like I don't deserve it. It's like you don't deserve it. But then that's the cool part about what Jesus came and just like he's just given like so sacrificially, and it's kind of like when you're at that rock bottom moment, but still seeing just how full of grace God is, mercy, like you were saying. So I love that. So now, kind of shifting gears, you were talking that you're on staff at a church and you do your own ministry, your own content creation online. You have pretty good audience. Over 300,000 people follow you on Instagram. And I know like I've come across your stuff too. I've seen it too.
Mhm.
So where did that all come from? Like you're doing hand lettering. It says on you have on your website that that's one of your cheerleader pom poms. It's kind of a fun way to look at that.
Yeah,
So
I love
where
to.
did that
I'm an encourager. Okay. If you were to squeeze me out like a sponge, you're going to get encouragement no matter what. I know some people are like, it's so annoying. Well, sorry, that's what you get. That's how God created me. I love to see that glass half full, right? But yeah, I got into hand lettering back in 2015, right after I got married. And being Canadian, right, I had to apply for my green card in the US. So I had a season where I wasn't working, I wasn't really doing much. And so God kind of led me. It's a long story, but God really kind of tricked me into hand lettering. And I really just started discovering this art and this passion of mine through words and writing things out. And I didn't have all the tools that I have today, but I just was faithful and I was curious, and God was inviting me to give my yes. And over time, it turned into a business, which I would have never thought I could ever do, because I would say repeatedly growing up, I'm the last person on earth that should start a business. I was as quick to spend money than I got it, right? And so God really just has proven himself faithful. And the verse that nothing is impossible with God, I have lived that over and over again. And so in that process, God led me to start sharing online through Instagram and really take the gift of encouragement paired with the creative gift. And so I was sharing online at a time almost 10 years ago where that wasn't the popular thing to do. It was just like maybe a handful of people were doing that with their lettering. And I was like, oh, okay, this is so vulnerable. But in the process of being vulnerable and being obedient, God was able to also prune me and expose things in my heart, right? Like the comparison, the perfectionism, all those things that a lot of artists deal with. And I just began to see how all God needs is our loaves and fishes. He just needs the little that we have, and he will multiply it. And I distinctly remember one moment where I just wanted to quit social media. I wanted to get off. I didn't want to do it anymore. And the Lord, in his kindness, reminded me that it's not about my gift. It's about being faithful to give it to him first, right? To give him just what I had, like the boy with the fish and the loaves, and to let him take it and to bless it. And when God blessed it, when Jesus blessed it in the scriptures, it said it multiplied. So my job isn't to multiply my gift. It's Jesus's job. And it's my job just to show up with what I have. And so that changed really a lot of how I show up on social media. I do my best. I want to honor God and help people grow closer to him. But it's not out of my strength. It's just about obedience and giving it to Jesus and letting it be your worship, and following the assignment on your life, and trusting that he will take what you have to give and he will multiply it and he will feed whoever needs to be fed through it.
And that's so cool because, like, especially with social media, it's like you can be connecting with people all around the world, people that you're never going to see like face to face.
Yeah.
Just something that maybe you were struggling with that you're like, okay, like this encouraged me, so I'm going to share it. And it, like, by the grace of God, it's going to encourage somebody else as well. So, what has that been like too? Like, I'm sure you get messages all the time of comments of just saying, like, oh, like, I heard that when I just needed to. Like, because it's so cool because it's just like the Lord just works in incredible ways of when you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't know how this is going to help, but I know it's going to help somebody because if the Lord puts it on your heart.
Yeah. I mean, it's so encouraging. It's just, I love getting testimonies, and I think it's God's way of saying, like, keep going. And also, like, it's just beautiful to get to celebrate with other people with what God's doing. It's like,
Hmm.
yes, God, this is why we do what we do, to give you glory and to see people transform, to see people experience the goodness of God, because he is so good, right? And I'm sure when we're faithful with the assignment, I mean, there's going to be a lot of testimonies we don't hear until we get to heaven, but it's
Hmm.
worth it. That's why we show up daily in what God has gifted us with.
Absolutely. And speaking of showing up, you're going to be showing up to Winnipeg in a few
Yes.
months for the
Yes,
Collide
in
conference.
May. I am so
So
excited to be with Clyde.
yeah, so this is the second one, and what are you most looking forward to? Because you're coming to where there's going to be hundreds of young adults, and you're going to get to pour into them. You're going to get to connect with them. So, what are you most looking forward to May 3rd and 4th?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited to come back, and to really sow back into a city and the people there that I got sewed into, right, as a young adult, as a young teenager. And I mean, I had so many incredible mentors in my life. And so the fact that I get to come back and pour back into a place where I received such beautiful nourishment spiritually is such an honor. And I mean, me and my husband are young adult pastors here in Austin, so we have a passion for young people, and God wants to do something powerful in this generation. And so, yeah, I'm just excited to be there and to release a message that is really my life message. And I just am believing and praying already that God is going to transform lives and that people would encounter the one true living God who is not boring, but he is so incredibly beautiful and amazing, and he's worthy of our all. So I cannot wait to be there. I'm glad I'm coming in May and not January, I'll be honest. So it'll be great. Also, I have family there, so it's just always a sweet time to go back home.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And just what you're saying, like about the conference, I know just connecting with people here in the city, just seeing this like hunger for more from the Lord of just like what he's doing in the city with this generation. So now you getting to come back and I'm sure that you see in your students there in Texas, just like what's that like? Because it's like seeing this eagerness, seeing this desire for more in just like the up and coming generation too.
Yeah, I would say there definitely is a hunger. I think I would say the hunger that I'm seeing the most of is truth and hunger for community. There is such, I think this Gen Z, I mean, also, I know millennials are starting to age out a little bit out of the young adult age, but Gen Z is so hungry for community and connection and discipleship. And so just being able to foster that and to just partner with God in that has been super fun. I mean, I love seeing the passion of this generation. That they want the real thing, and they don't want fake, they don't want showy performance. They want the raw, tangible presence of God, and that is so beautiful. And God meets the hungry. And yeah, it's been beautiful here in Austin. There definitely is a spiritual hunger in this city. I know Austin is a little bit different than the rest of Texas. Austin's a little bit more liberal and a little bit more, they're actually very spiritually hungry though.
Mm.
And there is an openness here for the gospel and for people to, even evangelism, praying for people on the streets. You don't get shut down very often here, which is really amazing. So there is a hunger and a
Mhm.
desire for that real, tangible presence of God that isn't just, this religious dude up sitting on the throne that is distant. No, he's so near. And we've just had so many testimonies of just incredible encounters that young people have had with that power of God and that intimacy with the Lord.
Absolutely. Well, just want to say a big thank you for just joining me and chatting with me this afternoon.
Yes.
And if someone just they want to follow along with your journey, what you're doing, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, I mean, I hang out a lot on Instagram. My handle is just my name, Jenessa, Jenessa Wait, Wait. And yeah, I show up there a lot. Also have a website, JenessaWait.com, and a podcast as well with my husband, which has been super fun. We've been doing that together. It's called Encourage Your Heart Podcast. You can listen on Spotify or iTunes and whatnot.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in May at the Collide
Yes,
Conference.
we'll see you then.